Every little comment, every small setback, every whispered criticism. If it all gets under your skin, you're hemorrhaging your power drop by drop. The uncomfortable truth that most refuse to face is this. The most unshakable people don't live charmed lives, free from problems. They've simply mastered the art of response over reaction. They've discovered the secret that transforms ordinary minds into fortress-like mentalities. Imagine walking through life with an invisible shield, deflecting the chaos around you like arrows bouncing off armor. No more sleepless nights replaying conversations in your head. No more emotional hurricanes triggered by fleeting moments. No more giving complete strangers the remote control to your inner peace. Just pure, unshakable control over your mental state. In this video, I'll reveal the psychological training system that separates the mentally weak from the mentally invincible. You'll discover how to build an internal sanctuary so strong that nothing, and I mean nothing, can disturb your peace without your explicit permission. Because once you master this mental superpower, you don't just survive life's storms. You become the calm in the center of them. And nothing and no one will ever have control over you again. 1. Mastering the nothing bothers me mindset. Life doesn't whisper its challenges, it screams them. People's harsh opinions crash against you like waves. Daily frustrations accumulate like storm clouds. Unexpected betrayals strike like lightning. The world seems to have an infinite arsenal of distractions, criticisms, and roadblocks designed specifically to test your mental fortitude. But here's what separates the unshakable from the easily rattled. They've discovered that true strength doesn't come from avoiding problems. It comes from mastering the art of strategic indifference. They've learned to walk through storms without flinching, without losing their composure, without giving away even an ounce of their power. This is what it truly means to act as if nothing bothers you. It's not about becoming emotionally numb or cold. It's about developing the psychological skill to detach your emotional responses from external circumstances that are beyond your control. When you allow external events to dictate your mood, you become a puppet dancing to the world's chaotic rhythm. Every criticism makes you defensive. Every setback sends you spiraling. Every opinion becomes a verdict on your worth. But when you train your mind to remain unmoved by these external forces, you become the master of your own destiny. The world has a strange way of respecting those who remain calm in chaos, who don't crumble under pressure, who maintain their composure when everyone else is losing theirs. When you embody this mindset, you command authority without saying a word. You move through life with an invisible power, with an unshakable presence, with confidence that can't be manufactured or faked. Think of the most influential individuals throughout history, the leaders, the innovators, the game changers. They weren't the ones who reacted impulsively to every slight, every criticism, every challenge thrown their way. Instead, they moved with an air of control, as if they possessed some secret knowledge that the rest of the world didn't understand. Their strength wasn't found in their ability to argue or fight back, but in their supernatural ability to remain unaffected by the noise around them. This is the true power of strategic indifference. It's a power that can't be taken from you, can't be bought, and can't be given. It can only be developed through consistent mental training. Consider this fundamental principle that governs all human achievement. Thought precedes action. And what you think, you inevitably become. If you constantly react emotionally to the world around you, you give away your power, piece by piece, day by day. But if you cultivate an unwavering mindset that remains stable, regardless of external circumstances, the world begins to bend to your will, rather than the other way around. Those who achieve extraordinary things in life understand this principle at a cellular level. Control the mind, and you control your entire reality. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine someone insults you in public, questions your intelligence, your appearance, your worth. The natural response for most people is immediate anger, retaliation, or desperate self-defense. But what happens when you simply smile knowingly and walk away with your head held high? You rob the instigator of their power completely. They expected a reaction. They were counting on drama. They wanted to see you crumble. But when they don't get it, when you remain unaffected, they are left confused, unsettled, and ultimately powerless. You, on the other hand, walk away stronger, untouched, and completely undefeated. This is the silent dominance that few understand, but everyone admires. The same principle applies to failures and setbacks. When faced with rejection, defeat, or disappointment, most people let their emotions hijack their rationality. They drown in frustration, losing days, weeks, or even years, lamenting over what went wrong, replaying scenarios, and building mental prisons out of temporary circumstances. But those who understand the power of strategic indifference see failure for what it truly is, nothing more than data, a learning experience, an adjustment opportunity, a stepping stone disguised as a stumbling block. They don't internalize failure as a reflection of their worth. They observe it objectively, adapt their approach, and move forward with renewed wisdom. So how do you cultivate this level of mental control? It begins with training your mind through daily practice. Develop the habit of pausing before reacting to any situation. In that pause, ask yourself 3 critical questions. Does this situation truly affect my long-term goals? Is my emotional reaction necessary, or am I about to give away my power? Will this matter in 5 years, 5 months, or even 5 days? By consistently choosing non-reaction over reaction, you build an invisible armor that shields you from the trivialities of life. You become like a mountain, unmoved by the weather, unshaken by the storms, standing firm regardless of what swirls around you. Another crucial element in this transformation is visualization. See yourself as someone who moves through life completely unaffected by external noise. Picture a version of yourself who doesn't flinch at insults, who doesn't crumble under pressure, who remains steady when everyone else is losing their minds. When you repeatedly reinforce this image in your mind, it becomes your reality. The mind is incredibly powerful, and what you consistently visualize, you eventually become. Let people wonder why you're not rattled. Let them question how you stay so composed when they would be falling apart. Because when you show that nothing bothers you, you control the entire game. You become an enigma, someone people look up to but can never quite figure out. And in that mystery lies your greatest strength. Remember this. True power is not about domination or aggression. It's about presence. A presence so strong that it doesn't need to prove itself. A presence that commands respect through silence, through an unshakable state of mind. Master this, and you master life itself. 2. The art of emotional detachment. To stay truly unshaken, think about the strongest people you know. Not physically strong, but mentally and emotionally bulletproof. They don't react impulsively to every situation. They don't let emotions dictate their actions, like leaves blown by the wind. Instead, they pause, they assess with clarity, and they respond with strategic intention. This isn't because they lack emotions or have somehow become robots. It's because they have mastered their emotions instead of being mastered by them. There's a profound difference between emotional suppression and emotional control. And understanding this difference will transform how you navigate every challenge life throws at you. Emotional detachment isn't about building walls around your heart or becoming cold and indifferent to the world. It's about controlling your emotional responses so they serve you rather than sabotage you. It's about refusing to hand over your inner peace to external forces that have no business controlling your internal state. Picture this scenario. You're in a heated argument, and the other person is deliberately trying to provoke you. They're pushing every button they can find, using words designed to trigger an emotional explosion. Do you react? Do you let their carefully chosen words control your emotions and dictate your response? Or do you smile with quiet confidence, completely unaffected, knowing that their words hold absolutely no weight unless you choose to give them power? Emotional detachment is about making that choice. The choice to refuse to hand over your peace to external forces. It's about understanding that your inner world is sacred territory, and you are the only one who gets to decide what affects you and what doesn't. When you adopt this approach, something magical happens. Stress decreases dramatically because you're no longer at the mercy of every external circumstance. Mental clarity increases because your mind isn't clouded by emotional turbulence. Life's challenges transform from overwhelming battles into manageable puzzles that you can solve with a clear head and steady hands. This connects to a fundamental principle that governs human experience. Thoughts shape reality, and what you focus on consistently, you attract into your life. When you allow external events to dictate your state of mind, you become a slave to circumstances, forever at the mercy of forces beyond your control. But when you take complete control of your thoughts and emotions, you become the architect of your own fate. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this principle. There was a man who lost everything. His business collapsed overnight. His investments crumbled. His reputation was destroyed, and he was left with nothing but the clothes on his back. Most people would drown in despair, become bitter, or give up entirely. But not this man. Instead of seeing the failure as a tragedy, he saw it as the most expensive education he'd ever received. He understood that his mind was his greatest asset, and no external loss could take that away unless he allowed it to. With this mindset of emotional detachment, he rebuilt everything from scratch. not just matching his previous success, but surpassing it entirely. This is the true power of detachment in action. When you stop identifying your worth with temporary failures or setbacks, you free yourself to rise above them. You become like a phoenix, not just surviving the fire, but being reborn stronger because of it. One of the major reasons people fail to achieve their goals is emotional turbulence. They let fear, doubt, and frustration control their decisions. They start with burning ambition but give up the moment challenges arise, because their emotions tell them it's too hard, too scary, or too uncertain. But those who master emotional detachment understand that emotions are just temporary sensations, like weather patterns that come and go. They don't allow these fleeting feelings to derail their long-term vision. They persist because they've trained their minds to see obstacles as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Training yourself to be emotionally detached doesn't mean you become cold, robotic, or indifferent to life. It means you no longer allow external forces to dictate your internal state without your permission. You can still experience joy, sadness, excitement, and every other human emotion, but you remain in control. Your emotions serve you, not the other way around. To develop this superpower, practice stepping back mentally in emotionally charged situations. The next time someone insults you, criticizes you, or tries to push your buttons, pause before reacting. Observe your feelings like a scientist studying data. Ask yourself, does this actually affect my life in any meaningful way? Will this matter tomorrow, next week, or next year? More often than not, the answer will be a resounding no. By choosing not to react emotionally, you take away their power over you completely. You remain in control of your energy, your peace, and your power. Emotional detachment also comes from having crystal clear purpose and direction in your life. When you have a compelling vision for your future, petty distractions and minor conflicts no longer have the power to shake you. Your focus becomes laser sharp and unbreakable, because you understand that your energy is far too valuable to waste on things that do unserve your greater mission. The world belongs to those who master themselves first. The more you cultivate emotional control, the more unstoppable you become. While others panic in crisis, you remain calm and collected. While others react impulsively, you respond strategically. And in doing so, you gain an advantage that few people ever develop. The advantage of complete self. True strength isn't about physical dominance, loud displays of power, or aggressive behavior. It's about having an unshakable presence. One that commands respect without demanding it. One that influences without manipulation. One that leads through example rather than force. When you master the art of emotional detachment, you don't just navigate through life, you control the direction of your journey entirely. 3. Mindful indifference is a superpower. We're conditioned from birth to believe we must care about everything. People's opinions, their validation, their judgments, their approval. Society teaches us that our worth is measured by how much emotional investment we make in the thoughts and expectations of others. But here's the liberating truth that will set you free. Most things simply don't matter. And caring about everything is the fastest way to lose your power. The next time you find yourself overthinking a situation, obsessing over someone's opinion, or losing sleep over a minor incident, ask yourself this simple but profound question. Will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, and it almost always will be, then let it go immediately. Release it from your mental space like you're deleting unnecessary files from your computer. Most of what troubles us on a daily basis, criticism from people who don't matter, temporary setbacks that will be forgotten, fleeting embarrassments that only exist in our own minds, becomes completely insignificant with the passage of time. Yet we allow these trivial matters to consume our thoughts, dictate our emotions, and control our actions as if they were life or death situations. This is precisely why mastering the art of strategic indifference is the key to regaining complete control over your life and your power. It's about making conscious choices, about where you invest your limited emotional energy. Indifference doesn't mean apathy, or not caring about anything. That would make you empty and purposeless. True indifference means intelligent prioritization. It means recognizing that your energy, attention, and emotional investment are finite resources, and choosing to invest them only in what truly deserves your focus. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every opinion is worth considering. Not every slight requires a response. When you stop reacting to every minor inconvenience, every small criticism, every trivial drama, you regain control over your life. You shift from being emotionally reactive to being strategically responsive. And that shift changes everything about how you experience life. Think of the people you genuinely admire most, the ones who seem to glide through life with effortless confidence. They aren't the ones desperately seeking approval from everyone they meet. They're not the ones reacting emotionally to every challenge or setback. They are the ones who stand firm in their own worth, unshaken by the noise and chaos of the world around them. They know who they are at their core, and because of that unshakable self-knowledge, they cannot be easily manipulated, influenced, or controlled by external forces. They've developed an internal compass that guides them, making them immune to the opinions and judgments of people who don't understand their journey. When you adopt this mindset of strategic indifference, something remarkable happens in your relationships and interactions. People start to respect you more, not because you're seeking their validation, but because they recognize you as someone who cannot be moved or shaken. In a world where most people are desperate to fit in, to be liked, to conform to every expectation, the person who stands firm in their own self-worth holds the real power. Consider this scenario. Someone criticizes you unfairly, questions your decisions, or tries to make you feel small. The weak-minded immediately react, defending themselves frantically, over-explaining their choices, or retaliating with equal aggression. But the mentally strong remain completely calm and composed. They understand that words only have the power you choose to give them. By not reacting, by maintaining their composure, they maintain control, not just of the situation, but of themselves. This self-respect and self-control commands more genuine respect than any emotional outburst or defensive argument ever could. The same principle applies to success and achievement. Those who reach extraordinary levels of accomplishment are not the ones who waste their precious energy on trivial concerns, office gossip, or petty dramas. They are laser-focused on their goals, refusing to be distracted by things that don't contribute to their vision. They operate with crystal-clear mental clarity, knowing that every moment spent worrying about irrelevant opinions is a moment stolen from their progress toward something meaningful. So how do you cultivate this level of strategic indifference? Start by honestly evaluating your emotional reactions. The next time you feel anger, frustration, or anxiety rising over something relatively minor, pause and ask yourself, is this truly worth my energy? Does this align with my goals and values? Will engaging with this make my life better in any meaningful way? More often than not, the answer will be no. Train yourself to consciously let go of what does not serve your higher purpose. This isn't about becoming cold or uncaring. It's about becoming selective and intentional with your emotional investments. Another powerful practice is setting clear, non-negotiable priorities in your life. Define what truly matters: your personal growth, your important relationships, your meaningful goals, your inner peace, your long-term vision. When you have this strong foundation of self-worth and clear direction, the opinions and judgments of others naturally lose their grip on you. You become mentally untouchable, not because you don't care about anything, but because you care deeply about the right things. You've learned to distinguish between what deserves your energy and what is simply noise that should be ignored. This is the secret that most people never realize. True power lies not in seeking approval from everyone, but in being completely unmoved by rejection from those who don't matter. It's found in the ability to walk away from what drains you, to rise above petty conflicts, and to remain focused on your path in a world full of distractions. In the end, mastering strategic indifference isn't about caring less. It's about caring more wisely. It's about choosing where to direct your precious energy and refusing to waste it on people and situations that don't deserve your attention. Because when you master this art of selective caring, you do want to survive in this chaotic world. You thrive and rise above everyone who is still caught up in caring about everything. 4. Stop seeking approval. Seeking approval is the most dangerous trap you can fall into because it places your happiness, your self-worth, and your entire emotional well-being in the hands of other people. It makes you completely dependent on their validation, their opinions, and their ever-changing moods. The harsh reality that you must accept is this: no one's opinion of you should ever outweigh your own opinion of yourself. The moment you give someone else the power to define your worth, you lose complete control over your own life. You become a prisoner of their expectations, bending and twisting yourself into shapes that aren't natural, just to fit into molds designed by people who may not even have your best interests at heart. True confidence isn't something that can be given to you by others. It's something you build from within, through self-reliance, through knowing exactly who you are, and through understanding that you don't need anyone's permission to be yourself, authentically and unapologetically. Think about the most magnetic, influential individuals you've ever encountered in your life. They don't beg for approval from anyone. They don't shrink themselves to fit into other people's comfort zones. They don't constantly seek validation for their choices, their appearance, or their decisions. They own who they are completely. Flaws, imperfections, and all. And that unwavering self-acceptance is exactly what makes them so powerful and attractive. Their strength lies in their unshakable sense of self, while others are chasing validation like addicts seeking their next fix. These powerful individuals walk their own path with complete confidence and purpose. They've discovered that approval seeking is a never-ending cycle that leads nowhere but to more insecurity and dependence. The desperate need for approval is always rooted in fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of standing alone, fear of not being enough. But here's the liberating truth. The more you seek approval from others, the more you surrender your personal power to them. You become a prisoner of expectations, constantly adjusting your behavior, your opinions, and even your dreams to match what you think others want to see. And in this constant shapeshifting to please everyone, you inevitably betray the most important person in your life, yourself. True freedom comes when you release the crushing need to be liked by everyone. It's an impossible illusion to think that universal approval is even achievable. No matter what you do, how perfectly you perform, or how much you sacrifice to please others, someone will always have something negative to say. Some people will admire you, others will criticize you, and many simply won't care about you at all. So why waste your precious energy, time, and mental bandwidth trying to please everyone, when it's literally impossible? Why give people who don't even know your story the power to determine how you feel about yourself? Consider the people throughout history who actually changed the world, the leaders who transformed societies, the innovators who created breakthrough technologies, the artists who revolutionized culture, the entrepreneurs who built empires. Were they concerned with fitting in and getting everyone's approval? Absolutely not. They were driven by vision, by purpose, by an internal fire that burned regardless of what others thought. They faced harsh criticism, public ridicule, and widespread rejection, yet they remained completely unfazed by the noise. Their confidence was built on something far stronger and more reliable than public opinion. It was built on unshakable self-belief and unwavering commitment to their mission. That kind of inner strength is what makes people truly unstoppable. And it's available to you too once you stop seeking validation from external sources. If you want to break free from the approval trap that's been holding you back, start by asking yourself whose opinion truly matters in your life. Make a short list of the people who actually know you deeply, who have your best interests at heart, and who have earned the right to influence your decisions through their wisdom and genuine care. More often than not, you'll discover that the loudest voices criticizing you or demanding you change are from people who don't walk your path, who don't understand your unique journey, and who have no real investment in your success or happiness. Their words carry absolutely no weight unless you choose to give them power over you. Another crucial step in breaking free is learning to validate yourself consistently. Acknowledge your own progress, no matter how small. Celebrate your wins, whether they're major victories or minor improvements. Recognize your own growth, your own efforts, and your own worth without needing external confirmation. When you start genuinely recognizing your own value and appreciating your own journey, external approval becomes completely irrelevant. You no longer need applause from the crowd to feel worthy because you know your worth comes from within, not from the opinions of people who may not even know the real you. Detaching from the need for constant validation doesn't mean becoming arrogant, dismissive, or closed off to feedback. It means standing firm in who you are while remaining open to genuine guidance from people who matter. It means respecting your own decisions, trusting your own judgment, and refusing to let others dictate your path through life. It means understanding that you are the author of your own story, and you don't need anyone else's approval to write the chapters however you choose. The most successful, fulfilled, and genuinely confident people in the world have learned this fundamental truth. Your opinion of yourself is the only one that truly matters in the end. When you finally internalize this truth and stop seeking approval from others, you'll discover a level of freedom, confidence, and personal power that you never knew was possible. You'll stop being a prisoner of other people's expectations and start being the architect of your own extraordinary life.